What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Breakdown Sportscast channel. You know who I am, your good friend Kory Willis. Got a quick video for you guys out there. If you saw the description of the channel, we are talking about CFP predictions for 2025. That's right, folks. I've seen a lot of people give their takes off of the 2025 college football playoff. So, I thought that it was only necessary to put our hat in the discussion pool when it pertains to this topic. So, man, we're going to definitely delve into it. But before we do, guys, go ahead, y'all, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's definitely important for Chris and I. It's definitely helps us out. It's helping us out growing this channel for you all. So as always, guys, we very much appreciate you guys' support with the show. All of the podcast spaces that we're on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, of course. We're on Twitch now, so hopefully our next live stream will definitely be on Twitch, and Amazon Music, Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms out there. So and we're also on Instagram, Twitter X, and TikTok as well at BD Sportscast. So yeah, guys, feel free to subscribe to all of our social media channels. We very much appreciate you guys' support. So let's get to it, guys. So the college football playoff. Like I said, I've seen a lot of talk about who's going to be crowned the national champion at the end of this season, and just who's going to make it overall. So many great teams this season. On me and Chris's last show, we were discussing it. So many teams can definitely make it into this college football playoff. I know you heard the rumors about more teams expanding. That's something else for another day. But in terms of the 12-team playoff, though, I cultivated a great list. I think maybe a little bit controversial, but hey, who doesn't like controversy? Of course, I think controversy definitely creates a great midst of discussion out there. So I welcome it. I think this sport definitely loves that. They love the chaos. So and fans loves the chaos. So let's go ahead and get to it. Won't keep you guys any longer. So here is my list, 2025 CFP predictions, and we're gonna go ahead and start here. So this is what I have broken down. This right here, I think, was very tough in terms of figuring out who was going to make it in. So many great teams, like I mentioned. I definitely took hours on end trying to figure out who was going to be the top 12 teams, but I think I made a pretty good list, guys. So let's go ahead and delve into it. So we'll start off with the conference champions and just the top seeds overall. Number one, coming in at number one, the University of Texas winning the SEC championship. Of course, you see the little trophy there to pretty much detail that as them being the winner of the SEC conference. Moving on to number two, Notre Dame, of course. They're independent. They're not in any conference. So I think Notre Dame is going to have a really good season this year. Marcus Freeman has found his quarterback, C.J. Carr. We'll see what Carr and company does this year. But if I had to make a prediction to get today, I think Notre Dame definitely makes it into the college football playoff. So Moving along, we have Ohio State at number 3, the defending national champions. They're going to win. I think they're going to win the Big Ten championship and definitely try to make a chance for a repeat this season. So, hey, we'll definitely see what Julian Sayin does this year. He has a bevy of just great talent everywhere. Jeremiah Smith's back. I think the defense is going to be pretty good. We'll still have to see what the offensive line does in terms of protecting them. I think they'll do a pretty good job. But overall, I think the defending national champions should do pretty well this season. Number 4, Clemson, having them win the ACC conference. I think Clemson this year, I think they're trying to go for the gold. And I think, having a guy like Cade Klubnik back can definitely pay dividends for a team like Clemson. So, Dabo Swinney, you've heard him. He has talked extensively about, this team and, the things that they've accomplished, the things that, he tries to, creating a culture over there at Clemson. He's talked about, building those moments to get to a season potentially where, they can be one of the top ranked teams in the country and hopefully go for a national championship. He's talked about that. He seems pumped. I know a lot of people down there in Clemson are pumped as well. So, I think we'll see what's going to happen this season for the Tigers. Moving along, number 5, we have Baylor winning the Big 12 conference. Look, the Big 12 is one of the most exciting conferences in all of college football. I think when you look at this conference, every year in and year out, you don't know who's going to win until they show up on the field. And, all of these teams still have to show up on the field. But I think Baylor is one of those teams that's going to be exciting just because they have Sawyer Robinson. I think Sawyer Robinson is going to have a really good season. I remember him being at Mississippi State under Mike Leach at the time. And what a lot of people in Starkville was excited about was, his arm strength. And I think Sawyer Robinson has shown that being a Baylor Bear. And, he definitely has a great receiver in Josh Cameron, who was just added to the Biletnikoff Award watch list. So it's going to be interesting to see what Baylor does this season. And I'll go ahead and talk about the Memphis Tigers. Yes, folks, I put Memphis in here. I think you really can't count out what Ryan Silverfield has done at Memphis. You just can't count out Memphis at all. I think this team is going to find ways to squeak into this 12-team playoff, win the American Conference Championship, and showcase why, a lot of people probably were hoping that they would make it last season. So they have a new quarterback. Brendan Lewis is going to be the quarterback, QB1 over at Memphis. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what Brendan Lewis can do this season for Memphis. So we'll definitely see what happens with the Tigers this season. Moving along, we will go ahead to number 6, Georgia. The Georgia Bulldogs, folks. I think they will be on the outside looking in and trying to make it into the top 4. I think Texas is going to be, really, really good. And I think Georgia is going to be good as well. But hey, they'll have some ground to make up by having a first round home game against Texas Tech. So moving along, we have LSU. I think LSU is the same, just like Georgia. I think this team has a bevy of players, of course. Garrett Nussmeier's back, and I think this defense will be pretty good. Look, Brian Kelly has to win this season. Win or bust. That's what I'm looking at right now. So I have them at the 7th seed. Oregon at 8. I think Oregon's going to do very well this year. Not going to win the Big Ten championship, of course, along with Penn State. But I think Dante Moore is going to be a quarterback that they're going to heavily rely on to be even more athletic and exciting than Dylan Gabriel was last season. And Dylan Gabriel had a great year. So we'll definitely see. Yeah, like I said, Penn State at 9, followed by, yes, South Carolina at 10. I think South Carolina is going to be a team that people are going to need to watch out for in the SEC. I think when you look at sleeper teams, some people were looking at Ole Miss as a sleeper team last season. I think you can't count out what South Carolina is going to do. Flat out. I think this defense is going to be stout with Dylan Stewart and company. Lenore Sellers is back. I think he's going to be much more advanced at the quarterback position. So, yeah, I think what Shane Beamer has done, and I mentioned this on our last podcast with Chris and I, that Shane Beamer has done a really exceptional job at South Carolina, and I don't think you should count them out at all. So we'll definitely see. Texas Tech at 11, of course, and Memphis at 12. So let's go ahead real quick and go over who is going to win this national championship this year. So yeah, this is the first round. Penn State taking on Oregon. Memphis, Baylor should be a pretty good game. South Carolina, LSU. I think that game is going to be a defensive matchup down there in Death Valley. I would love to see it. Sign me up. And Texas Tech at Georgia. I failed to mention Texas Tech just lost a great running back in Quentin Joyner. They were looking at Quentin Joyner to be, a beacon on that offense at the running back position. So, I know Joey McGuire had mentioned about Joyner's injury on a podcast, I think, recently. So they're now looking at Jacoby Williams and Cameron Dickey, both who had a combined of 81 carries, well over 400 rushing yards, 461 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns the season prior. They're looking at those two to potentially hold the load for Texas Tech's running game. So, we'll definitely see. But overall, this is your first round of the college football playoff. Let's go ahead and see who comes out on top. This is what I have. I have Penn State knocking off Oregon at home. South Carolina knocking off LSU in Death Valley. I think South Carolina, like I said, is going to make that into a defensive game. I think overall it's going to be a defensive game, but you can't count out what Shane Beamer's done, what that defense has brought the last couple years, of course. And I think this will be no different. I think this is just going to be this is going to be a defensive matchup. Probably one of the more boring playoff games of the season in the first round. But I think it'll be exciting too, because you'll see a team like South Carolina, who's I'm telling you, people. I think a lot of people out there are counting out what South Carolina can do. So we'll definitely see what happens with the Gamecocks going forward this season. Texas Tech and Georgia. Georgia's going to knock off Texas Tech. I think the Bulldogs are going to be too much for the Red Raiders. I think they'll have a great season, Texas Tech. But I think Georgia is just going to be too much for them at their home turf. So they'll advance. And, Baylor, I think they'll advance against Memphis. And I think Sawyer Robinson and company are going to make it to the quarterfinals as well, just because I think they're going to have a really good year, guys. I like what I'm seeing over there in Waco. So moving along. Before we move along, this is what we have. Texas versus Penn State in the quarter final. Notre Dame, South Carolina, Ohio State, Georgia, and Clemson and Baylor. I'm looking for that to potentially be some good games that we'll watch. So moving along, this is what we have. So we have Texas knocking off Penn State, Clemson knocking off Baylor, and Notre Dame knocking off South Carolina, with Georgia knocking off Ohio State. As a result, we'll leave these two semifinal games. Texas and Clemson will be your Fiesta Bowl. Notre Dame and Georgia will be your Peach Bowl game. And as a result, I think we'll have Texas and Georgia in the CFP National Championship. So that's what I'm looking at. I think who wouldn't want this? Look, we saw last year. Texas and Georgia in the SEC Championship game, and these two were just battling until the end. And hey, Georgia came out on top. Texas, they had opportunities, but they just couldn't seal the deal in the end. So I think your national championship will be last year's SEC title game for sure. And as a result, the winner of the 2026 College Football National Championship game will be the University of Texas. I think Texas is going to win the national championship. And hey, we've talked about Arch Manning. I think Arch Manning is going to have a great year. Still has to play the games, of course, but I think Texas has built. I think they're built for this moment. We've heard Steve Sarkisian talk about it. He talked about how happy he is for having his guys, his culture. I think as a result, this is what we'll see. And I think that is who is going to win, the University of Texas. So yeah, guys, that is my real quick video on CFP playoff predictions with Texas winning the national championship, and we'll see. Now, look, this is why the games are played at the end of the day. So I'm ready. I am ready, and I hope you guys out there are too. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. A real quick video I wanted to lay out there for you all. As always, guys, we appreciate your support with the show, Chris and I. We're definitely looking to build this community, build this channel with you all. So if you like what you hear from the show, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, to this video. We very much appreciate you guys' support, and hopefully we will be back with a live stream to go over week 0 in college football. Yes, folks, we are finally back. Week 0 of the college football season is upon us, and I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. But until next time, guys, I'm Kory Willis signing off. This is the Breakdown Sportscast. Peace.